Support for Another Round comes from Squarespace. Go to squarespace.com today for a domain experience that's transparent and easy to set up. Just make sure you enter offer code Another Round at checkout to get 10% off. Make your next move with Squarespace.
Hi, everyone. I'm Heben.
And I'm excited.
Hi, excited. You look
girl.
great.
Oh, my God. Thank you.
The buns are popping. Your buns are always popping, Tracy.
Thank you. I mean, which buns we talking about?
Okay, Tracy has really cute Minnie Mouse like hair puffs. Yes, going on.
Minnie Mouse.
Yeah.
Mickey Mouse is what I went for.
Okay.
Halloween one year.
Minnie Mouse is what they called me because that's what my hair always was.
Oh, baby Heben.
And this is Another Round with Heben and Tracy.
What's up, girl?
Not much.
Chilling.
Yeah. You hear that bouncer mix? Hard to sit down.
Wah, 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 wah. That's my impression of
nice.
of bounce music. Wah, 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 wah.
Sounds like a bad Pac-Man game.
The
like,
great value version.
Yeah. You shouldn't do that.
So our brand new NOLA Bounce remix comes to you courtesy of the voice of bounce music himself, Hasizzle, who is like the voice that you hear on so many like great bounce music, like bounce the biggity, bounce the biggity, bounce the biggity, bounce it.
Yes. Icon legend.
Yes. So thank you to him for that. And y'all are welcome because I've been seeing a lot of tweets like, yes, can I get the full version?
Yes.
Please request
Drop
it in the
link
club
on
this
iTunes.
weekend. Yes. Y'all got that new Another Round?
DJ's whack. Of course he ain't got it.
Of course not. Of course not.
He won't even let you play Beyonce.
Rude. Get him out the club. So we got a new bounce remix.
Yes.
What else is in this episode today, Heben?
We have the iconic, the legendary Levar Burton in this dude. What? Whether you know him from Roots or Star Trek or Reading Rainbow or all three, it's probably all three.
Mm-hmm. And now you might know him from his brand new podcast, Levar Burton Reads, where Levar Burton is still reading to your grown asses.
Yes.
Because he still cares about your literacy and the things in just your life enrichment and
Look
creativity.
at these blessings.
Blessings on blessings on blessings. So we talked to him about all of this stuff. And we broke him at one point, I remember. He started laughing and we couldn't bring him back. And Heben was like, we broke Levar Burton.
And then he broke us.
Yes. But then you know what? We all put each other back together.
Oh, that was a little too much. I want to keep it. It's a great time, y'all.
Right. So we hope that you enjoy this episode. Get a little mirth and joy in your life and in your world.
Much needed.
I'm sure you need it. I know I do.
Yep, you listen to the greatest.
Before we get on with the show today, can we make some time for my feelings?
Oh my God, always Tracy.
I'm having feelings.
The whole show is your feelings.
Welcome to Tracy's Feelings with Heben and Tracy's Feelings.
Sometimes I'm here too with my feelings.
But yeah, I find myself, for one, not being able to look away from the news right now.
Which part of the news,
I
Tracy?
mean, the dumpster fire part of it, which is like all of it, basically.
Again, need more clarification.
Specifically, the Confederate monuments coming down all over the nation. And I'm noticing that I feel like it feels very therapeutic and cathartic for me to see like these things are finally coming down.
Word.
That people are finally realizing that, hey, maybe it doesn't make sense to have fucking Confederate monuments in New York City. You know what I mean?
I feel like we both grew up with that in our backdrop.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, I didn't even get the full Southern meal. I got a taste.
But I was at the buffet.
Yeah. You were at Golden Corral.
I really was. You were so
Or Cracker
right.
Barrel. No. I was at Golden Corral. You were at Cracker Barrel.
Yes. Oh, man.
Because I went to Stonewall Jackson High School.
Ugh.
Like Manassas is a Civil War
Right.
ground area.
Uh-huh.
So you get all of that.
You
but
get a smattering of everything.
It's not quite as heated as the Charlottesville stuff has been for.
Yeah. And all this makes me remember my time in college very, very well because we were having these same fights. There was a boys' dorm named after Jefferson Davis, who, of course, was the president of the Confederacy, who I think went to Transylvania for like a week.
I believe slaves in the day called him y'all's little president.
I believe that is actually true. Y'all see y'all's little president coming back on his horse. But I just remember the feeling of helplessness and the feeling of just like being silenced in a race. And we would go to the administration, these people that we were paying thousands of dollars to, and being like, the nerve. And we're just like, we don't feel safe on these particular grounds. Your job is to make us feel safe and to guide us through our education and growth. And I'm afraid. I'm afraid to walk across the street at night. Like, I've seen some crazy shit. Like, one of the earliest memories I have of being at Transy is a group of white boys. These were the KA members, and the KAs are a frat that was founded by Robert E. Lee. No, they consider Robert E. Lee their spiritual founder.
Oh, no!
Yes, ma'am.
Robert E. Lee fan?
Like, what the hell? What the actual hell? So I remember them one night, like, they just gathered around this big-ass weeping willow. It was like storming, there was lightning, there was thunder.
Oh my God, I don't like this movie.
I don't like it either, and I couldn't get out of it. I was like, change the channel, change it. But they were literally like singing Dixie in the middle of a thunderstorm underneath the willow tree. Some of them were shirtless, some of them were like draped in life-size Confederate flags.
Wow.
Seriously. I've seen these same people dressed as Confederate soldiers just walking across campus in the middle of the day like it was nothing. And my whole 4 year, I mean, like, they did enough to placate us, you know? So in the boys' dorm, there was this huge, in Jefferson Davis Hall, to be specific, there was this huge, like, 6-foot portrait of Jefferson Davis. There was a bust of Jefferson Davis in the library. And, like, I passed this shit every day trying to be a better person, a better Black woman.
Studious.
Trying to just, like, yeah, let me learn, dog.
Dang.
And to be told by the administration, like, yeah, we hear you, but these are the reasons for that. It's just like, there should be no but when I'm telling you that I don't feel safe. You know, this is my home away from home. I'm not safe at home. And it was frustrating. It made me feel like weak and powerless and like voiceless. And to see this stuff happen in how old am I? Some 13, 14, 15, 16, 17
Okay, Tracy.
years after college. It feels really good to see that, okay, finally people are like starting to listen to us when we talk about these just this Confederate litter, basically. But it also made me really sad that it took this long, you know? I mean, it makes me sad that these monuments and shit are up anyway. But it's just kind of like, we tried to tell y'all, you know?
Word.
Black people told y'all all the time, repeatedly.
Some people have been talking about, like, the fact that you can see the, like, white supremacist faces. They're not hiding because they got their fucking tiki torch right next to their goddamn face. I can see all the features.
Right.
But I'm curious, like, when you're saying, like, you could see that same person in class.
The same person who was in a Confederate flag uniform the night before.
Right.
Sometimes you have to sit next to this motherfucker. You know, sometimes rarely, but sometimes they'll, because they're polite, right? Southern gentlemen. Hello, ma'am. Don't fucking talk to me. I seen you last night. Get away.
Wow.
But a lot of it, too, was so Transy, I don't know if this is interesting at this point, but Transy is run by a bunch of old white money. And in Lexington, old white money means old Confederate money. And so they had very vested reasons to keep the hall named after Jefferson Davis and to keep the bust in the library and et cetera, et cetera. And I did some peeking around to see what became of Davis Hall and what's going on at Transy. And the hall was destroyed some years ago. And then I think it was just a shitty building. Oh. They need a lot of architectural work. But they had the presence of mind to name it after somebody else when it went back up. So, you know, it just reminds me that change is always slow and change always hurts. But change is still at least happening somewhere. I'm trying to be optimistic about it, but right now I just feel mad and angry and sad. So hopefully the optimism will come from someplace. But I did want to say shout out to everybody. To whoever tarred and feathered that statue of Robert E. Lee.
I woke up like, how do you tar and feather a statue?
Where do you find tar? Where do you find that many feathers? What are you doing? I don't know who did it, but yes. More power to you.
Just texture-wise, how did you make it work?
Yeah. Like, is there a YouTube tutorial for how to tar and feather somebody?
There probably is.
There probably is. Shout out to whoever had that idea. Shout
Confederate
out to
YouTube like makeup bloggers. Girl, put them blackface on this way. Don't contour too much.
Right. You don't want to look like a clown. Shout out to everybody who is working hard on getting these symbols out the way. Even though some people see them as just symbols, they're not just symbols. Like, that shit means a lot to a lot of different people. Clearly. So shout out to everybody who's fighting a good fight. We are over the moon, thrilled and excited to have actor, director, producer, podcast host, and guide to our childhood reading adventures, Levar Burton in the stew today.
Yeah.
Kunta in the house.
Welcome. Kunta is in the house.
Yo, I was like looking through all of your tweets, and I noticed that you say that all the time.
I say that whenever I land in a new city.
Do you? I lead with that when I enter a room. But yes, that makes sense that you do too.
Heben walks in, she's like, "Kunta in the house," and everybody's like, "Do you
say it IRL?"
I would pay to see that.
Listen, do you ever enter rooms that way? Like kick in the door, just be like, "Bam,
bam,
Kunta,
y'all." No,
do something.
No, I try and keep it. I keep it close to my heart because it is. But I pull it out now and again when the mood strikes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's amazing how relevant and recognizable that name still is.
Yeah.
Like, there's
Word.
Kunta references everywhere, even in our own studio. So recently we had Sashir Zameda, formerly of SNL, who was on the show, and she was telling the story. She was so great.
Yeah.
You should listen to the episode.
Okay, I will.
But she was telling us a story about how people would try to shorten her name and like try to give her a nickname. Because,
Well, first of all, her name's like a Star Trek
oh
reference.
yeah, I forgot that.
It's like a flower.
Right, it's a crystalline flower from Star Trek.
That's what her parents wanted.
The fuck out of here.
Seriously, her
I
parents
had
are trekkers.
no idea.
Yeah, I didn't
That
either.
is so dope,
I
y'all.
know.
Right?
What a delightful name.
No. So she was telling us the story of her name, and she would tell us how people would try to shorten it, give her a nickname, and she would be like, "Don't Toby me. You use my original name."
Right?
I love that.
Yeah, that's real.
Do not Toby that woman.
Do not Toby that woman. And so this made me wonder, because you have a really great, really black name, I would say.
Lavardis?
Lavardis.
Lavardis is my first name. It's very black.
It's super black.
It is.
Righteously
Mistaken.
black.
It is. No,
Black
right?
and elegant.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well,
But, getting jobs when you're black is hard for one.
Right.
Getting jobs when you have an identifiably black name is hard for two.
Can be
so
hard.
did you ever want to Toby yourself?
no.
Never.
Well, no, not really.
Not even like in the acting world?
Well, I go by Levar because when I decided to become an actor, I was pretty young. I was 17. And I thought, Levar rhymes with star.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
That's it.
I didn't even.
Right? No, this was my thinking at the time. And so, I took it all the way there. The first autographs I signed, I tried to get away with just signing my first name, like Cher.
Yes.
Right? And it was at a press junket for Roots, and I was there 2 weekends in a row. And the second weekend, the people who got my autograph the first weekend came back and asked me to add my last name. Because they weren't going for the okie doke. So, in truth, when I was in the first grade, my very first day in first grade at Holy Angels Elementary School, Sacramento, California, I went in as Lavardis. And it was difficult to pronounce. The nuns were not feeling it. And the most popular, the nuns doted on this blonde-haired, blue-eyed white kid named Bob Banky. And
Bob Banky?
Bob Banky.
What kind of name is that?
That's as white as it gets.
That's a great nemesis name.
Right?
Yes, Bob
Banky. And the nuns were like doting on this kid. And my middle name was Robert. So I decided in that moment that I was going to go by my middle name. And I got home from my first day of first grade and announced to my family that I would heretofore be called Bob.
Bob?
Lavardis is no more.
And I was Bob for the first 16 years of my life.
What?
Right. I was.
Wow.
Wait, really?
I've never told this story before.
What?
I was Bob for the first 16 years of my life. I was Bob Burton.
Wow.
So I was studying for the priesthood when I decided to become an actor, but I was projecting forward in my life to the time when I would be referred to as Father Bob.
So you did kind of Toby yourself.
I did kind of Toby. I did. I flat out Toby'd myself now that I think about it.
Wow, what a circle. What a journey we've been on.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so real.
Yeah.
This is fascinating. Also, can I say that I think the idea of children named Bob are just hilarious
That's
to
what I
me.
was just about to say.
A child named Bob? That's like a kid named Otis. Like, I know they had to exist at one point.
Yeah.
But it's just, it's such an old name for a young child.
Can we back up a little? Let's talk about the studying for priesthood.
Oh,
Father
really?
Bob.
Really? Okay. All right. Okay.
So how'd all that work out?
It works out great because I didn't become a priest.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I decided to become a priest when I was about 8 years old.
Why?
I was raised in the Catholic faith. My mom was not a Catholic. My mother was raised in the Baptist tradition of my grandmother, Estelle Ward. However, my mom was an educator. She was a teacher. And when we settled in California, my mom, Irma Jean, whenever I get an opportunity to speak my mother's name in public, I do. Irma Jean Christian.
My mommy's middle name is Jean, too.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Jean? Yeah.
Oh.
Irma's is Gene, which is unusual for a woman to have
that's
the masculine spelling. Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, Ermagene. I am the man I am because that woman is the woman she is. My mama is everything, and she was a teacher, and so she knew that the best education that she could provide for her children was a parochial school education, which is why I was baptized Catholic and raised in the Catholic tradition. Irma was bound and determined that I would reach my full potential in life, even if that meant she had to kill me.
Do what you got to do.
Right? Irma Jean doesn't play. She doesn't. My mom is 4'10" and a half.
Hold on to that
right?
half.
Weighs about $1.25 now. I am a grown ass man, and I'm still afraid of that.
That's how you do it. That's how you do it.
And she was a single mother, so my exposure to priests were some of the most positive male role models I had growing up. Couple that with the fact that my mom, after she had her first career as an English teacher, she became a social worker. And so I grew up in a family where it was assumed that one's life had an element of social responsibility attached to it. So couple that with the fact that, from my young mind, looking at the life of the priest, they got a free house. They were always taken care of. Yes. They didn't pay taxes. It all seemed pretty,
Perks?
right?
Right. Is it too late?
It was
Let me
like
get an application.
Right? And then everybody looked up to you, right? And you were in a position of prominence in the community while being of service. It was attractive to me. What I didn't understand at the time was that the Catholic liturgy, the Mass, is all about theater. And I was really drawn in by that, right?
What do you mean it's about theater?
Well, the priest during the communion, the ritual of communion, turns this wafer into the body of Christ and the wine into the blood of Christ. Watch, here's my magic trick.
Ta-da!
Yes.
Ta-da,
That is
right?
a lot of
It's
Catholicism.
It's all very theatrical in nature. And quite honestly, on my mother's side of the family, there tend to be a lot of teachers and social workers. On my father's side of the family, there are a lot of soldiers and ministers. So I believe that I've come to the decisions that I've made pretty honestly throughout the course of my life. I was not interested in going into the military. I came of age just as the Vietnam War was ending. But the clergy really did appeal to me.
So how did your family respond when you became an actor at very young age?
Yeah. Well, I know my mom. I know Irma Jean was probably relieved a little, but still nervous for me.
Relieved? Why?
Well, I'm the only son, and so the family name would have died out had I not gone in a different direction. I don't know. I think she was very supportive of, I entered the Catholic seminary when I was 13, so she was very supportive. I left my mom's house when I was 13 years old and went away to school. And Mom was really supportive and has always been really supportive of her children, in whatever it is we wanted to pursue. But I think that she was a little nervous for me because all of that security that I was attracted to, where the priesthood was concerned, there was none of that present in a career as an actor.
Right.
So,
Well, I'm sure those nerves went away when you were cast as a young Kunta Kinte after your first professional acting audition.
My son goes on his first audition.
Right, and comes back.
He's now the lead slave. What just happened?
yeah. Life is crazy.
Yeah,
It is.
to say the least.
It is.
Because you're learning to act alongside of like actors like John Amos, right?
Yeah.
And just like super big. Were you nervous? Were you scared?
My very first day as a professional actor, Cicely Tyson played my mother. Maya Angelou played my grandmother. In my very first scene on my very first day.
How did you not lay down and die?
I'm shook.
I was shook, but I didn't let anybody know. I was shook. I was shook to my core.
Did everybody know that it was your first acting gig? Like the cast?
Yes,
Wow.
they did. They all knew that I was the unknown. I was the new kid on the block, and they all embraced me.
Aww.
They did. No, I learned so much. I will forever be grateful to all of those actors, to Dr. Maya, to Cicely, to Lou Gossett, to Harry Rhodes, Moses Gunn, Jitu Kumbuka, who just recently passed, played the wrestler. Everybody just embraced me, and they schooled me.
Okay, so what did you learn from Maya Angelou?
Here's my favorite Maya Angelou story.
Okay.
My heart is a flutter. Oh my goodness.
You have a Maya Angelou story?
Oh my goodness.
I got a bunch. But here's my favorite. On that first day, we were in Binta's hut, in my mother's hut, Kunta's mom's hut. And in the story, Binta had just had Kunta's younger brother, Lamin. He was less than a year, so in her arms. So in the scene were Cicely and Maya, myself, and the young kid who's playing Lamin, and we were in there for some time. It takes time to shoot these scenes. And at one point there was, and I don't even remember what kind, but there was a huge bug that made its way, because we were on the outskirts of we were at St. Simon's Island, Georgia, out in the boonies, right, where they had built the replica of the village of Jufaray. And so this bug, I looked over and there was this bug in this very small, I mean, the hut was like, as big as this booth, about,
A little baby stewed.
Yeah. And I was 19 and I was raised that it's the man's job to protect women and to look out for them and whatnot. And so I took it upon myself to stomp on this bug.
All right.
Because I didn't want the bug to upset the women or the baby. And Dr. Maya turned to me with that look and said, "Don't you ever think that because you are larger than a thing, that you have the power over life and death of that thing. That was a living creature."
That's intense. I wouldn't have come to work the next day. I'm like, well, this was a fun day of work. Goodbye.
I think she just fired me.
And she was right. And she shifted my perspective and my point of view in that moment, that, we are all God's creatures. It stuck with me all these years.
So was that the last time you killed a bug?
It's certainly the last time I killed a bug in Dr. Maya's presence. I mean, mosquitoes, everything. Y'all are good. Y'all are good.
So one of the things that we've been thinking about, like as we've been preparing for this lovely, lovely interview, is how heavy it is to watch and consume media about slavery, because it's traumatic, it's hard, it's tough to sit.
It is, but it's necessary.
Yes, absolutely.
I get. I was an executive producer on the retelling of the Roots story last year, and I got a lot of pushback on social media from a lot of people, including Snoop Dogg.
What
You
kind
don't
of
want to make
pushback?
Snoop Dogg mad.
What was Snoop mad about?
Snoop was not feeling yet another slave story being told. And I understand that point of view. Roots, however, for me is not a story about slaves. It's a story about survivors. It's a story about warriors who were enslaved. And it's a semantic difference, but it's a real difference for me. So, yes, I get how difficult it is to experience these stories. And I get the element of shame that is also attendant with these stories. But there is no shame in having survived our enslavement. We need to remember that about ourselves and stop buying into the white normative culture's idea of who we are. And as soon as we do that, en masse, shit will change.
I think the context also when Roots first came out, it's not like we had like a glut of slave movies. Whereas
right.
now we have enough for you to feel slight fatigue.
Yeah.
You know?
Again, I understand the point of view. And here's another point of view that was articulated and one that I cannot argue with. We need more black stories, more black stories than just the story of our enslavement. And I get it. I understand it.
So speaking of different types of stories being told and representation in all fields and areas, different genres, you sort of became the illustrative picture of Drake's Started from the Bottom because you started as a slave.
Right.
Then they sent your black ass to space.
That's right.
In Star Trek.
Right?
That's right.
What a trajectory.
Yes. We in the past, we in the future, we in the present.
Right.
There is a direct line, I believe, from Kunta to Geordi.
Talk to us a little bit about Geordi and your connection to him.
Geordi.
And for the trekker or for the non-trekkers.
For the non-trekkers.
Right.
Yeah.
Amongst us.
Right? Yeah.
For the lingo. I see you, girl.
Look at me.
For the two of you out there, y'all.
Exactly.
Geordi La Forge was the chief engineer of the Starship Enterprise, NCC 1701D.
He got the killer glasses, the visor.
The
Excuse
visor.
me. Excuse
the
me.
visor. The
I got
visor.
the lingo.
Yeah. Yes.
You're doing great, Steve.
Geordi, my character was the guy who wore the banana clip over his eyes. Right?
Yes.
So Geordi was responsible for keeping the ship running. In the first season of Star Trek: The Next Generation, Geordi was the navigator. He was the blind man who flew the ship, and that joke sort of played itself out after the first year. And in between seasons 1 and 2, I had a meeting with Rick Berman, the executive producer, and we decided that we really needed to give Geordi his own area of expertise from which to contribute. That made a lot of sense to me.
So how did you approach that conversation? Like, did you, like, as soon as you were playing it, you're like, all right, it needs a little more?
No, I was a huge fan of the original series. And so getting the opportunity to compete for that job was everything to me. I wanted in so desperately. I wanted in. And the idea of the prospect of being able to meet Gene Roddenberry, let alone work with him, was just, it was life.
The TV writing god,
Right?
the icon.
Right? The great bird of the galaxy. I mean, that was one of his nicknames. I mean, Gene Roddenberry was a genius and a visionary, right? And interestingly enough, for me, one of the things that I learned throughout the course of my relationship with Gene was that as much a visionary as he was a man. He was human, you know? And so my relationship with him became sort of a reconciling of icon and human being. And I think one of the great gifts that Gene gave me as a mentor was the realization that all of our heroes are human and as such are flawed. I feel like I've been so blessed to have had my life touched by, in succession, Alex Haley, Gene Roddenberry, and Fred Rogers. These three men, in addition to my mother, Irma Jean, are my storytelling mentors. They have shaped me in the sense of I do what it is I do the way I do it because of their influence.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
So our sources tell us that Geordi Never got none on Star Trek. Everybody had like little love interests and girlfriends, and, you know, like even I hear that there was an android who like got love. You know what I'm saying?
Data got some from Tasha.
What? Why did
I think it was
Geordi have
alluded to that when Tasha, died, and in her eulogy, her self-delivered eulogy, I think there was an allusion.
That's my kind of girl. Yes.
Right?
This android bitch going out like that. Exactly.
Welcome to my funeral.
Yes.
First of all,
That's right. I mean,
Hologram shit.
Exactly.
I love it. I love it.
She officiated at her own wake. I think there was an allusion, but yes, and it's a very tired trope. The geek, it's the engineer who is focused on tech and technology and was awkward around women. I hated that shit, and always felt that the writers, who were all white men, were just engaging in a very tired stereotype. And I endured it.
yeah.
Because that was the job.
Yeah, we saw that on Chris Hardwick's Nerdist podcast that you said, quote, I don't know why Geordi never got the girl, but I believe the writers did not know how to deal with black male sexuality.
Right.
Everybody had sex on the ship, including the android.
Right.
You said you endured it. Did you ever try to change that?
I know I had that conversation with them. And you saw the result.
Listen, I know we'll tell HR. We'll deal with it.
And, I mean, I had never done a television series before Star Trek: The Next Generation. And that was almost 30 years ago. I'm a different human being now than I was then. And
Listen, you grow older and your fuse gets so much shorter.
Right? And not just the fuse getting shorter. I think that we sort of refine that which is our bottom line, the hills that we're willing to die on. And if I found myself in that situation today, I would fight that fight. I would fight it tooth and nail.
What would you say? How would you explain it to a writer's room full of white men who don't see the problem?
Respectfully, you all are white men and have no clue about the sexuality of a black man and how that dynamic has been bashed in white normative culture for over 200 years. And the fact that you are unwilling to see the sexuality of Geordi only tells me that you have bought into that bashing. And I want you to open your eyes and see beyond your own conditioned limitations and get that this man deserves to have a full life just like every other member of this family.
Yeah, we're snapping. That's what the kids are doing.
Snap.
Right?
Yes.
Failing that, fuck y'all would be. I'm out. Would be.
Fix it, Jesus.
Take the wheel. Jesus, take the wheel. I'm done.
That's so real. That's so real. Uh-oh, legendary spit take.
Snorting, yay! Snorting in the stew. Do we need napkins?
Oh.
Oh, man.
Support for Another Round comes from Squarespace. With Squarespace, you get a unique domain experience that's simple to set up and an all-in-one platform to help you create a beautiful, modern website that's nothing like those old dial-up websites. You remember that sound? To help quiz me on some other old-school computer sounds, I have Tyler Sorensen from BuzzFeed's creative department sitting in the control booth with me today. Hello, Tyler.
Hey, Tracy.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
Here is your sound.
Oh, it's a CD-ROM being inserted?
Yep, that's it. What did you think it was before?
First, I was gonna say it's the sound that a film camera makes when you load it and it like rewinds
yeah.
for a second.
Yeah.
But then I was like, nope, I'm too smart. I know what it is. Gosh, I feel old. Get your unique domain today at squarespace.com. If you sign up for a year, the domain is free, and you can also save 10% off your first purchase with the offer code Another Round, as in the name of the show that you're listening to right now. Make your next move with Squarespace.
We got to talk about Reading Rainbow.
Do we? Yeah, we do. Don't we?
We do.
Wait,
We
do you
do.
not want to?
No, I love talking about Reading Rainbow.
Let's talk about Reading Rainbow. So it seems like you have made a habit of showing up for something new on the first day and then just,
Just killing it.
just killing it. So you were executive producer of Reading Rainbow from day one. Is that correct?
I was not executive producer from day one, but I was executive producer as soon as I recognized that this was not a flash in the pan, that this was going to be an ongoing concern, and that I really wanted to be a part of it going forward. And in that vein, I felt it was really important for my voice to be held at the executive producer level.
When did you realize that?
3 seasons in. The first few seasons of Reading Rainbow, there was no guarantee that there would be another season.
We do kind of take it for granted that it existed
Right.
for this long.
Yeah.
For
Like
a really long time.
legendarily
Yeah,
long.
we did. We were in production for, I think, 24 continuous seasons.
I believe that's a PBS record.
Yeah.
It is. Well, it is. It is in the sense that it is number 3 in terms of its longevity on PBS, behind Sesame Street #1 and Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood #2. So there was, in the beginning, no guarantee that we would raise the money. It was very difficult to raise the money for a reading show on television. This
is a wild program.
It is. It
And we're
is.
just going to watch people read. What is this show?
It is counterintuitive at best. Okay.
Wow, I never even thought about that.
Right.
How did you even get from playing these nowhere near like educational or for kids like shows or series and then to Reading Rainbow even?
Irma Jean.
Just the direction of
Irma Jean. My mom was an English teacher, and not only did my mother read to me when I was a kid, she read in front of me. So I grew up in a household where reading was like breathing. I mean, if you didn't read in Irma Jean's house, you had a choice. You could read a book or you could get hit with one. It was,
I love that.
it was a choice that you had to make. Okay.
I love that.
So I was acutely aware of the impact that literature had on my life. You know, just as much as I believe that we are what we eat, I believe we are what we read. And then coupled with the Roots experience, where I was just slapped in the face with how powerful the television medium is. In 8 nights of consecutive broadcasting, I experienced this entire country being transformed. So the power of the medium, coupled with what I already understood to be the value of the written word, I thought, this is brilliant. This makes, I'm in. This makes sense to me. This makes sense to me. And we just did not know at the beginning that it was going to, have that sort of sustained longevity.
One of the things that I realized once I got older is, and once I figured out how shitty the schools are, especially if you're a brown person in America.
Yeah. Where'd you grow up, Tracy?
Louisville, Kentucky.
Louisville. Right.
But it made me realize that Reading Rainbow was probably a better teacher than a lot of kids had in their actual schools, like access to books and literature and learning.
Right.
So what did making this show teach you about education?
I guess my one takeaway from the over 33 years that I've been associated with not just Reading Rainbow, but with literacy advocacy is just how broken our educational system is in this country. We spend so much money on war and the machineries of war in this culture, and have sacrificed 2 now generations of our kids. We used to do a really good job of educating. Public school education in America used to be the world standard. It is no longer that. And I'd like to see us reorganize our priorities.
So is Reading Rainbow coming back to TV ever?
I'm sure you get this question every day.
I do. And I am so happy that I was able to bring Reading Rainbow back for a digital generation. When we launched the Reading Rainbow app in 2012, the summer of 2012, it was it was the beginning of a journey that ended up with us launching this Kickstarter in 2014 and raising $6 million, which
was a record, right?
crazy.
Yeah.
105,000 backers. That was the record at the time. Taking a really beloved brand and trying to translate it to another medium is not for the weak.
Yeah, people will fight you
Yeah.
over
Right?
nostalgia.
No,
This is different and I'm angry.
Right?
I don't like change.
I feel so good that we did that successfully. Having done that, I'm now giving the Reading Rainbow brand back to WNED.
Ooh, plot twist.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It means that I'm getting out of the Reading Rainbow business.
What are they going to do with it?
It's their brand.
Oh,
I've
ooh.
had a license for it
I see.
for the last 7 years, and they want to bring it back to TV, and I want them to.
Okay, so
with
that's the new way.
God,
New
absolutely. Because one of the things that I've realized, look, the older we get, hopefully the wiser we get. Every ounce of energy that I invest in a brand that I will never own is an ounce of energy I will invest in a brand that I will never own.
Listen. That is a word today.
Drag me.
So,
Oh, man.
Levar Burton Kids is my new brand.
Ooh.
And that's my focus now.
Okay.
I want to tell stories that extend beyond reading. I want to take advantage of the whole breadth of my brand, from social justice to the future, right?
Word.
So speaking of your brand, I have a question. So I feel like the projects that you've been involved in, helping kids learn how to read, very honorable. Helping teach America about slavery, also very honorable.
Amen.
Representing for the black people in the future. I'm glad one of
All
us
right.
made it.
One
Shout
of us
out.
got time travel down.
They let one of us go to Mars. I feel like you've got this very like squeaky clean and like cute image or reputation. Does that ever frustrate you?
I don't think my reputation is necessarily cute. I'm proud of my legacy. I'm 60 years old. I've been doing this for 40 motherfucking years.
See, you just said motherfucking. I feel like that would shock some people because you're
I hope they are shocked.
Motherfuckers.
Because allow me to refer back to earlier in our conversation. All of our heroes are what?
Human.
Yay.
Hello.
Right.
That's so real.
Right. And it's dangerous for us to put our heroes on a pedestal because the only trajectory that makes sense from the height of a pedestal is a downward one. So I am who I am. And I've spent a lot of time, effort, energy, and money on therapy to
Amen.
arrive at a place where I am good with who I am.
Yes. Amen. I love that.
And I'm not interested in allowing anyone to take that away from me.
Let this man cook, y'all. Let him say motherfucker in peace. Okay, so this reminds me of another question. So you have this new podcast.
I do.
It's called Levar Burton Reads.
I'm so proud of this podcast. I'm so happy. So happy.
We're so excited to hear about it. Tell us more.
So, people have asked me for years, when are you going to address an adult audience with the same passion, with the same fervor, with the same intelligence that you brought to an audience of children? And I always knew that it was just a matter of time. My wife, Stephanie, she's been hounding me for years. And finally, it was the right time. And I watched this universe of podcasting just kind of explode.
Yeah.
And I got very excited because my vision was always very simple, to just simply read stories I love to read. And I'm a big fan of the short story format because
Slept on genre.
Right?
Slept on.
I read short stories every night. I mean, that's how I go to sleep. Mostly with science fiction short stories, but I just love short stories in general. I mean, when I was a kid, I found O. Henry and Ring Lardner, and I just want to read short stories. One an episode.
LeVar Burton Reads.
LeVar Burton Reads.
Hey.
So these are stories that you yourself pick?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are there going to be like, since this is like you're reading to adults,
Yeah.
are we reading like adults
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we
Oh
are.
my gosh.
Adults?
Well, I
Right.
mean, we're not reading porn. I haven't done anything really racy, but I'm leaving my options
Not off the table.
open.
Okay,
It's not.
okay.
No, it's not off the table.
All
It's
right.
because
I'm trying to put some seats on the.
I feel like you're gonna be reading some Zane in about 2 months, and Twitter's gonna go crazy.
I'm gonna go crazy. Wow, can't wait for this episode. You're welcome, everyone.
Can't wait.
I think this is an excellent time to transition to pew pew pew.
I think so too.
Yeah?
So we're
What is
already.
pew, pew, pew?
I'm so glad you asked.
What is pew pew
Pew pew pew pew pew pew is
Oh.
our rapid fire
pew.
question segment. See,
Okay.
rapid
Okay.
fire.
All
right, I
So
feel
we've already been having a blast. We're gonna turn the fun up to 10, maybe to 11. It depends.
Uh-oh.
Do you have any hidden talents? What is this grin? What's that?
There is
What?
a childish, devilish grin upon us in the studio. Oh my God, what's happening?
Okay, so he's now
think we
leaned
broke
all the way
LeVar
back in his chair, holding both his mouth and his nose. Is this your trick? What is happening?
Is he okay?
I don't know. Should we call somebody?
Maybe he can hold his breath for a really long time.
What's happening? We broke him. We broke him. I don't know what we did.
I genuinely don't know what to do.
Oh my God. Oh.
All right.
Okay. Yes.
Don't you dare. Okay.
I have a couple of hidden talents. I don't even know how. I can't even.
This is
I
a safe.
can't.
Hey,
I
this is a
can't.
safe space. We accept you for who you are. You are among friends.
All right. Yeah, but this is being shared with millions of people.
No, it's just the two of us.
No one will ever hear this. Everybody listening, turn your radios all the way down.
Close your eyes.
Just close your eyes. Don't look. Well, now you have to tell us. This buildup is too much.
I'm so sorry. As an actor, and as a freshman at the University of Southern California in Los Angeles, in the School of Fine Arts as a Bachelor of Fine Arts major, I had extensive vocal training, and so a lot of exercises are a part of developing that instrument, the voice, and a lot of these exercises focus on lingual control. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, alrighty then. I'm gonna sip my drink.
I don't have no more drink.
Oh my goodness, what a journey, and we did get there.
Oh.
I was so scandalized. I thought I could take it.
I cannot wait for you to read Zane on your podcast. I cannot wait. Oh man, Levar Burton Reads, y'all.
You guys
man.
are awful. I hate you so much
I
right
believe
now.
you mispronounced the best.
Okay, next.
Are you sure that doesn't? Yeah.
No, you have
TMI?
No.
No
Okay.
such thing.
I wanted to tastefully broach asking you about your wife because y'all have the most adorable
gosh.
freaking Instagram photos. I
can't.
stalked both of you. One, her t-shirt game is amazing.
Yes, it is.
So amazing.
My wife is funny, y'all.
She's
My wife is
amazing. I
funny
love her
as fuck.
already.
I love my wife so much. Stephanie Cozart Burton is my life. There's nothing I love more than laughing with my wife. And making her laugh because her sense of humor is so sick and twisted.
We need to get her on the show.
when I can make Stephanie laugh, when I can make Cozart laugh, I'm good.
one and a half questions. I've been told to ask you.
We
one
didn't
question,
do
but
pew
I'm
pew pew.
This is pew.
Oh, this is pew pew pew. Okay, all right.
You just
It's
ain't been
never
rapid fire.
as rapid fire as we think it is.
Okay,
Right,
okay,
right. We
okay.
always intend for it to be. So,
Yes.
2 last questions.
Okay.
One, I have to ask you what you're reading right now, or none of my friends will speak to me.
Right.
again.
I've always got like 3 or 4 books reading.
What's in the
at the same
rotation?
time? In the rotation right now, I just downloaded the other night the new anthology. I think it's called The Year's Best Science Fiction. It's edited and compiled by Gardner Dozois, and that's the last thing I read before I go to sleep at night. I love those short stories.
Okay.
What else is on? My wife just gave me a book by a friend of hers, a woman, Didine is her name. She is a survivor of the Rwandan genocide. I'm about to read that book. I'm about to read Ready Player One. That's next up. You get the point.
Yeah, that's a lot of books.
Yeah. I expected just one.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
We didn't talk about Cameo. Everybody,
Oh!
go watch the Cameo
Word.
Word Up video.
Ow.
LeVar Burton is a police officer who I think wants to keep people from having fun.
I think. Yeah.
Well, you don't even know.
No.
Okay, so
no.
next time you come back, we'll
talk about
We'll
Cam-
recreate
we'll talk
the
about
entire
the
video.
Word Up video and Larry Blackman's Red Cod piece.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, that's a thing.
It's
That
a
is a thing. You are a joy and a delight. Where can people find you in your work?
I'm on Twitter at LeVar Burton, LeVar.Burton on Instagram. And if you've got kids and want to connect with the Skybrary service, our digital library of over 500 books and video field trips with LeVar, just like the original television series, go to LeVarBurtonKids.com.
All right.
And where can people check out your podcast?
Everywhere you consume podcasts.
Yeah.
All right. LeVar Burton, thank you so much for coming and hang out.
Thank you
Please
so
come back.
much.
I love you all.
Oh, we love you too.
When you hear the call, you got to get it underway. Word up.
Hey, Heben, it's time to buy rounds. Can I go first?
Ooh, yes. Go.
I am in the middle of a very intense biscuit and gravy addiction.
Ooh, you know I love a biscuit.
I know how you feel about biscuits.
I don't know how I feel about gravy, to be honest.
I wasn't ready.
I'm sorry.
I wasn't ready.
You should have seen her face. Got stabbed in the front.
I wasn't. You know what? That's fair.
Okay, talk to me. I don't want to rain on your biscuits and gravy parade.
Wait, I got quick follow-ups. What is your aversion to gravy? Is it the taste? Is it the texture?
I don't even have an aversion. I'm just saying I don't know if I've had the proper combo to like fully appreciate this thing that you clearly love.
Okay. So
This is a fixable problem.
it is a fixable problem. So biscuits and gravy. It's like you get all of the standard pleasure of a biscuit.
Sure.
You know, you get
I'm familiar. I'm
the
versed.
buttery. Oh, I know. But then you get like this addition of like a very like if the gravy's made well, it upgrades your biscuit from good biscuit to experience.
Ooh.
Biscuits and gravy is an experience.
Wow. Okay.
My grandmother used to make it all the time when I was younger. Naturally, you know, as a child, I did childish things. I did not fully appreciate the greatness of biscuits and gravy. But when we were in New Orleans for NABJ, randomly on the breakfast bar, they had some biscuits, so naturally I had to cop a biscuit. But then they were like, here's some gravy. And I was like, oh, shit. It's been a minute. And it was so good. Like, first of all, any food that you find in New Orleans is going to be better than any food you find someplace else. So this is like a standard-ass Hilton breakfast bar, like a buffet, right?
We're talking the Hilton restaurant.
Yes. But that gravy and the softness of the... And then, you know, when you leave it for a little while, it kind of soaks it up a little bit. And it's just like,
Ooh. Okay.
So,
I see what you mean. Experience levels, tiers.
Yes, if you will. So then I come back from New Orleans and I'm still needing some biscuits and gravy because I meant to go back to the buffet the morning before and I didn't make it because I was asleep and probably drunk. So I come back to New York and I'm like, what are the chances that I can find some decent biscuits and gravy?
What are the chances?
Very low because listen, New York, y'all can't even honestly get macaroni and cheese right for real. Y'all sweet tea is biscuits and gravy up here. I was like wet, but I'm at home one day.
Okay.
May have been drinking rosé out of the bottle. Yes. And I'm like, I wonder if there is a biscuit shop, a biscuit tree on Grubhub somewhere, right? What? In Flatbush, which probably not. But I was like, I'm gonna step out on faith and I'm gonna search for biscuits and gravy in my Grubhub app. And guess what God did for me? God said,
This is wild. How do you find a biscuiterie?
I don't
in
know.
Flatbush?
I have no idea. There was this restaurant that came up called Butter and Scotch.
Ooh.
First of all,
I like a good name like that. A
Fam.
twofer?
a twofer. So we have to go there for brunch because apparently they specialize in biscuits for one.
Okay.
Biscuits were bomb for two. And they specialize in just like boozy milkshakes and drinks and like very decadent, like desserty
Ooh.
stuff.
A treat yourself spot.
A treat yourself. And the biscuits and gravy.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I'll do it. I mean,
Tracy
it's not
is happy.
It's not New Orleans.
Okay,
biscuits and
okay.
gravy,
Nothing
but-
is New Orleans.
True. But I was just so happy. And now I have a biscuits and gravy plug. And I just feel a little bit righter than I
Yes.
did last week.
Yes. I'm
that's
so
my round.
happy for you.
Thank you, girl. Butter and Scotch. You got to go. Like, you have to go to Butter and Scotch. Butter and Scotch is not like butterscotch. You got to go.
You gotta go.
Bye. Yeah, shout out to biscuits and gravy. Who or what is your round for?
Also food related.
Ooh.
Please walk with me. It is very pure. Don't go to a different destination.
Oh, man.
I wanna buy
can't wait
around.
to sully this.
Stop it. I want to buy around for a fresh banana. Okay. Okay. Damn it, Tracy. God damn it. Fruit is good for you. Okay.
Oh, banana show. I'm good for you, girl.
Let me laugh.
I'm sorry. I just haven't had a good fresh banana. in a
Oh
long
my
time, so-
God.
No, okay. Please talk to me about your love of bananas.
Tracy McGee. You know, that's it. That's the round, okay?
No,
I like
wait.
bananas. They're good. They're healthy. Sometimes it feels like a meal
Uh-huh.
just because it's a good banana.
Yeah.
But not too early when it's green all crazy.
Oh, see,
You
there's
gotta wait on it.
when is a banana too ripe for you to eat it? Because, you know, like old Southern ladies be like, you just cut all the black shit off of that banana and you eat it. Even though it was only like 2 bites of banana left, they will be scraping.
That is how my mom told me. You're not wrong. That's exactly how, like, those are the values I was brought up with. In my culture, we use all parts of the I saw this tweet once that was like, y'all talking about you eat the top of a banana, but you eat ass. It's just like, dang.
I mean,
I wasn't ready for the comparison.
I was not either. It's not a bad comparison, though, you know?
Anyways, good bananas are
Okay.
great. I feel like I've been in a lot of startup offices lately, and one way that I noticed that I judge startups is by the ripeness of their fruit and what their bananas are looking like.
That's true.
I do love to leave BuzzFeed every day with 2 bananas.
I was going to ask you to score BuzzFeed's bananas.
They're usually well stocked and ripe, so BuzzFeed gets it.
Okay. So are you a member of the faction that puts, and I guess this faction is once again old Southern lady,
Yes, the
but
answer is yes.
cutting up bananas and putting them into your cereal?
Yes, and cornflakes. Yes, bitch. Yes.
Oh my God. Yo,
My
before I
fave.
leave here today, I'm going to go get 2 bananas and I'm going to go buy some
love it,
cornflakes.
love it.
All right.
Bananas are good by themselves
Yeah.
in stuff as an ingredient. Milkshakes. I will say one last banana relationship I have.
Okay.
This one time in high school, I slipped and fell on a banana peel. That shit was real and it happened to me. It happened to me, Tracy.
Oh my God, you got to write the article.
XOXO. It happened to me. XOJ, what is it?
Wait, what do you mean you were just walking and you didn't see the banana peel on the
Okay.
ground? Cartoon style.
Cartoon ass fucking human me walking, minding my business. And then I'm like, wait, I'm on the ground now. How did we get here?
I feel like you're
It
the only
happened in a
human who has
split
done that
second.
in like the last 50 years. You
I
got to
was like,
be.
zoink. And within like 0.5 seconds, I was on the ground.
Was it like legs and books and papers in the air?
It sure was.
Hairpins flying out.
That's when I realized I'm
Aw.
like, ugh, too embarrassing to function. High school memories.
Bananas.
Bananas.
Good rounds today. Everybody go get some bananas and some biscuits and gravy.
Yeah, shout out to breakfast foods that you eat all day.
Yeah, shout out to breakfast for dinner. Shout out to Levar Burton. Still can't believe that he stopped by.
He gave us his iconic eyebrow in real life, y'all. It was
He
beautiful.
did.
It was
He did.
magnificent.
He also talked to my mom on FaceTime.
Oh, it was so precious.
She was just giddy. She was like, "Do I look okay? Do
Oh.
I?" It's like, oh my gosh. So shout out to Levar Burton. You can follow him on Twitter at Levar Burton. And check out his new podcast, Levar Burton Reads, where he's still reading to y'all.
Yes, shout out to him to still reading to us.
Yes. Shout out to the Pod Squad. This episode was produced by Nina Patuk and Julia Furlan with editorial oversight from Eleanor Kagan and Meg Kramer and production support from our lovely fellies, Agaranesha Shagre and Alex Laughlin. Shout out to our in-house musicians, Jean Gray. You can follow her on Twitter at Jean Greasy. And Don Will, you can follow him at Don Will. And to Hasizzle, once again, thank you so much for the lit-ass remix of our song. You can follow him on Twitter at Hasizzle King. That's H-A Sizzle and King.
As always, you can follow me and Tracy, me at Heaven Rants, Tracy at Brokey McPoverty.
Also follow Heaven on Instagram.
Okay. Yeah. Heaven Rants on Instagram as well.
Right.
I'm out here.
She is out here and back. You can email us at anotherround@buzzfeed.com. You can follow us on Twitter at Another Round. You can Facebook us at Another Round. My mother saw the video of me doing a light twerk on stage.
A light twerk.
She was not
I was
happy.
doing the light twerk, to be clear.
Excuse me. It was a sensible.
Oh my God, it was
twerk.
beyond sensible. It was exquisite, Tracy. Are you
Thank
kidding
you.
me?
My mother
That is
said,
the art, and I was the light twerk in the background, is what I was
Aw,
saying.
I think
I'm being generous to my light twerk as well.
I was impressed by both light twerks. My mother was like, it looks like you're taking a shit. And I was like, please unfollow us on Facebook,
One must
mother.
squat sometimes,
I
okay?
mean, you know, what else can you do? Rate us on iTunes.
Did she really say that?
I swear to God. She said it to my face, and this was FaceTime. And I was like, well, I would like to get out of this
Oh
interaction.
my gosh, she FaceTimed you to say that.
She sure did. She sure. My niece is in the
love it,
background
I
like,
love
no,
it.
it was sensible.
Oh.
It was. She was like, don't do that
This
anymore.
is so precious.
I know. Subscribe to our newsletter at BuzzFeed.com/AnotherRound/newsletter. Drink some water, take your meds, call your person, log off for like an hour a day. Just take a break.
Redo your notifications.
Yo.
Just take a look at them. Like, why am I getting notified about this? There's a time and place for things.
That is the realest advice I've ever heard.
Wow. Thank you. You're welcome, everyone. Just changed so many lives.
You did. All right. I'm out here to go rethink my notifications.
Hey.
Bye.
Bye.
We know that Monica sang about it in 1995, but have you ever had one of those days where nothing seemed to go right? Picture this. You're a grown-ass woman, minding your own business when suddenly everything that can go wrong does. If this sounds familiar, you should check out Tamika and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. This book is about a grown-ass woman named Tamika who knew she was in for a doozy of a day when she woke up to find that her hair bonnet had come off in the middle of the night, jacking up her edges. It was all downhill from there. She got harassed on the way to work, harassed on the internet, and Shelly in accounting called her by the other black girl's name. And then started crying when Tamika corrected her. It seemed like nothing was going to go right in her life ever again. Eventually, Tamika goes home and has drinks with her girlfriends who give her all the affirmation and encouragement she needed to get up and do it all again the next day. I like this book because as a black girl who has experienced all these things, you should pick up Tamika and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day today.